Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestlers Way and to Extreme Rules 2022 out of 10. Yeah, it's a very interesting looking card. Got all sorts of matches across the card. I think they're all kind of like gimmick matches. The show has been dominated by one thing. Will Bray Wyatt be there or will Bray Wyatt not be there? Let's find out. But we're going to start off with our first match, which was Empanium versus the Brawling Brutes. In the first match, Imperium was dominating early on. They sent Betch through the lead board before Barry outside while beating Sheamus and Holland down at ringside. Back in the ring, Kaiser and Vinci were beating up Butch and Holland, but Ridge managed to lift both heels and hit a big double stand. Ridge then took the Empanium bomb on the outside before Butch was isolated in the ring, and Gunther locked in a hold in the corner, allowing for a triple team move with Kaiser and Vinci. Sheamus then recovered at ringside and sent Gunther's lackeys into the barricades outside the ring before facing the ring general. Sheamus then got the chops in on the apron, and Butch and Holland came out to help him with strikes of his own on the champ before the Celtic Warrior hit the white knife. Sheamus followed out with a brogue kick, but Vinci broke the pin. The Brutes then cleared the ring, and Sheamus got the Irish Curse backbreaker before locking in a hold before it's broken with a shillelagh to the back from Kaiser. The Brutes were in control at this point, and Imperium tried to put Sheamus freely on the table, but failed before Butch wiped them out with a dive from the top. Back in the ring, Gunther hit a big shillelagh, shot to the head of Sheamus and got a near fall before an assist from his team allowed Sheamus to get a shot to the head as well. Sheamus lifted Gunther and sent him through the announcer's desk with a big crucifix bomb, and Sheamus followed with a brogue kick and picked up the win over Gunther and Empanium. This gets a 7 out of 10 for me. A really fun match between the two to open the show. Just constantly just showing what they can do together, and every time it's just bloody brilliant. I don't want this feud to end, kind of feel like it might do, but yeah, this was such good stuff. 7 out of 10. Back on Extreme Rules, the Miz was backstage and they got mascot handling a t-shirt, but he stomped on it and said he was wearing an expensive suit before walking off. And yeah, this was kind of a continuing thing throughout the show. But anyway, it's time for Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey, and had the advantage early on and locked in some holds after grounding the champ, but Morgan managed to power through and grabbed her baseball bat. Ronda then got another takedown and took the bat before tossing it outside and continuing her beatdown on the champ. Liv then sent Rousey outside and tried to hit the baseball bat, but the challenger wrapped her up on the ring apron and got the sparkly baseball bat that Morgan held with the chair. The champ then got a fire extinguisher and sprayed it on Rousey's face, but took the Piper's Pit and a massive toss to the outside. Back in the ring, Rousey dodged the weapon, beating Liv with her back belt. Rousey then trapped Liv on the post and powered Morgan with a baseball bat before Liv set up a table in the corner of the ring, but Rousey smacked the champ's head on it before locking in a hold. Morgan then got a chair and sent it up into the corner as well before trying to send Ronda into it, but the chair had fallen off. Morgan beat Ronda down with the chair and hit Codebreaker with it before getting a near fall. Morgan then got sent on for a table and a near fall before Rousey kicked out, but Rousey got the armbar in, but Liv managed to lift her and drop her on the broken table. Ronda refused to let it go and transitioned into the bicep crusher before picking up the win via knockout. And yeah, really creative finish. Definitely predicted Liv, you'd have to say, and made Ronda look like a badass at the same time. And I think this is going to start the build for Ronda versus Becky, and I'm happy with it. So it gets an 8 out of 10 for me. Really good stuff, and like the future direction as well. Next up was Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre. At the start, Kross refused to put on the strap before the match, and then instead Starlet dragged Drew to the corner with the strap, and Kross started beating down, and the two fought their way to the ringside, and Kross tried to suplex Drew into steel steps, but McIntyre reversed it and lifted Kross on the steel steps and dropped him on the apron before forcefully trying to strap on him. The bell was finally rung when Drew began whipping Kross with a leather strap right out of the gate. Scarlett got in the way, and the distraction allowed Kross to dig Drew into the steel straps. Drew seemed to have hurt his shoulder, but very quickly refused medical attention. Kross focused on the injured shoulder and taunted him while Drew was whipping him. Kross drove McIntyre into the announcer's before whipping him some more as Scarlett laughed maniacally. Kross then hit the Doomsday Daito suplex for a near fall in the ring before Drew came out some more suplexes and neck breaker, but missed the DDT. Kross then kicked out a spinebuster before he and Drew started raining down fists on each other. The two then started whipping each other in the neck before Kross got in the way of a Future Shock DDT. Scarlett got in the way of the Claymore and sprayed pepper spray into Drew's eyes, letting Kross get his finisher for the victory. This gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Really good stuff. I love Cross going over like this. Good match as well, some heel entrances at the start. I think it's time for McIntyre to stay right now. I think that's probably what's going to happen. So yeah, no issue with that either. So yeah, on the whole, really nice executed way to win this feud, I imagine. 8 out of 10. The mascot continues to stalk The Miz backstage as Extreme Rules continue before we got Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match. Ladders came into play straight away and Bayley was sent outside early on and sent Belair into a ladder outside. Belair managed to reverse a second toss into the ladder and headed back into the ring before Bayley was power slammed into a ladder. Belair then tried it out with a splash on the ladder before Bayley hit a sunset flip onto Belair into a ladder in the corner. Bayley was in control and set up a ladder bridge between the ring and the barricades before sending Belair down on it and hitting a flying elbow. Belair was nearly crushed between the two ladders by Bayley but managed to roll out of the way. Belair then was trying to climb the ladder in the ring but Bayley dropped her on the top another ladder before the champ fell outside. Belair still recovered and hit the KOD before Damage Control came out and dragged the ladder. Belair managed to hit a double KOD on Kai and Sky but Bayley took her down. The ring was littered with ladders and Bianca was tossed into one before Bayley got the rose part and trapped Bianca underneath the ladder and wet it up, and the champ managed to lift the ladder and sent Bayley down. The two were on top of the ladder when Bianca was tossed off, but before she whipped Bayley down with her hair, Bayley had the ladder with her hands, and Belair hit KOD with it before climbing the ladder and retrieving the Raw Women's belt. And yeah, this gets 7 out of 10 from me. Really, really fun match. Damage control interference, kind of inevitable, but yeah, it showed all the stuff that Belair was kind of going through. And I wouldn't have minded that I just ended with Bayley winning through damage control interference. Yeah, I just didn't want Bayley losing so soon. But yeah, at the same time, I didn't want Bianca Belair's title reign to end. If I had to pick one, though, I probably would have gone for Bayley. So an interesting conundrum. But yeah, maybe I would have gone for a different result. So even though I really enjoyed the match, I'm going to limit it to a 7 out of 10, let's say. It was then time for Finn Balor versus Edge in an I Quit match. Balor came in a black mask as the match began. Edge got the upper hand early on with a spear in the corner. They traded submissions back and forth in the ring, trying to get each man to quit before Edge was caught in the apron and Balor unloaded on him. Balor then got a sling blade on the outside before Edge drove him through the barricades and into the crowd where the Rated R Superstar hit a suplex on the floor. Edge then got a hockey stick and locked in the Glasgow Grim before the two made their way up to the stands. Edge then sent Balor into the concrete overhang of the arena before they fought their way through a crowd and back at ringside. Balor then got a steel chair and hit Edge with it over and over before locking in a painful hold. Edge then refused to quit and sent Balor into a chair in the corner before the rest of the Judgment Day showed up. Edge speared the whole group through after sending Damien outside and took them out. Back in the ring, Edge was setting up for a spear but Rhea came out and handcuffed him to the top rope. Priest then, Dominic and Balor then were beating down on the Hall of Fame before Balor got some kendo sticks. Balor wailed on Edge with the steel stick before Rey Mysterio came out with a steel chair and took out the heels. Rey got 619 on Priest before Dominic took him out. Dom then sent his dad into the barricades in the ring before beating him down at ringside. Balor continued to beat Edge with the kendo stick before Beth Phoenix came out and beat the Judgment Day with her own weapon. Dominic fled and came out after Beth but got spears out of the ring. Beth then got the key and unlocked Edge's cuff, freeing him. But Edge then got up and hit a spear on Priest before sending Dom outside. Edge hit 3 spears on Balor and asked Beth to get a chair before breaking off the spike and locking in the crossface. Ripley took out Beth from behind with brass knucks before Priest got the South of Heaven on Edge. Balor hit a coup de grace on Edge before the latter let go and sent him to hell. Ripley got a steel chair and put Beth's head on it, setting up for the concerto before Edge finally said the words and lost the match. Ripley still hit a chair shot before the Judgment Day retreated. And yeah, this gets a 9 out of 10 from me. This was just bloody marvellous. Kind of felt more like a tag team match at some points, but I enjoyed the chaos. And yeah, the ending was just so good. Judgment Day now feel more real than ever, and I'm absolutely loving it. Edge kind of doesn't lose much in defeat either as a big baby face now. So yeah, I mean, I thought this was really, really good stuff. And yeah, on the whole, I have to say it gets a 9 out of 10 from me. The Miz finally had it and beat down the mascot before Dexter Lumis showed up behind him and knocked him out. Yeah, I think we all saw that coming, but you know, it was worthwhile nonetheless. But anyway, then it was time for Fight Pit in our main event. Riddle got the first takedown but accidentally hit the official Cormier by mistake. Rollins took advantage of the distraction and took Riddle down before taking him down and waiting for the count. Riddle got up and was suplexed into the cage wall before Rollins climbed up the cage wall and hit a splash. Rollins then trash talked Riddle before calling him a loser before taking on an RKO from the Bro. Rollins got a stomp before Riddle countered the second one, but Rollins climbed up the cage and was walking on the scaffolding. Riddle followed him up, and the two fought up there before Rollins hit a buckle bomb in the corner at top. Rollins hit a pedigree on the top, but DC refused to count because they weren't technically in the ring. Riddle then hit an RKO before Rollins fell down. Riddle then hit a floating bro from the top of the cage before locking the triangle lock, making Rollins tap out. And yeah, this gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me. Really fun match. Kind of protected Rollins' feet. Bit of a messy ending, but Riddle getting a feud ending win I think is the right decision. Yeah, that's going to be a massive piece for him in the main event of the pay-per-view. Rollins, yeah, it's a shame, but he's still got more than enough credibility in the bank, especially after the win at Clash of the Castle, you feel. But anyway, that wasn't it. The arena went dark after the match, and we saw starry lights around the arena. As the lights flashed on and off, we saw what looked like Wyatt family members, and there was some sort of head on the announcer's desk. We saw a glimpse of the Fiend's mask and a glitch version of the Firefly Funhouse scene before we saw a very strange video clip play. A man with a lantern showed up in the darkness before we saw a strange symbol on screen for a second as the show went off the air. And yes, it was Bray Wyatt, who is back in the WWE. And yeah, I'm so bloody happy about this. Obviously, we knew it was coming with all the teasers. But yeah, I mean, still to see him back, it was just incredible. The pop, everything as well. Brilliant way to go off the pay-per-view, and I can't wait to see all the teasers in the next few weeks. Yeah, let's fucking go, man. Bray Wyatt is back. Overall, WWE Extreme Rules 2022 gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I thought this was just an absolutely magnificent show, potentially one of their best pay-per-views of the year. It kind of felt like all hits, no misses. Bray Wyatt's back, some bang matches. Yeah, some really good endings as well. Just brilliant stuff. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, links, comment, and friends for daily wrestling news and subscribe to my channel. Greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.